Mosquito Lagoon is a region unique among the inland waters of the Atlantic coast, not only for its wildlife and history, but also for the feeling of relative isolation that is attainable just a short distance from shore.
We're here today at River Breeze Park in Oak Hill. Open 24 hours, River Breeze Park's 37 acres of untouched landscape offers visitors a panoramic view into Old Florida. With 5 acres along the Indian River, guests can fish, birdwatch, and enjoy a scenic picnic. River Breeze has campgrounds, hiking trails, a pier, and 2 boat ramps that give you direct access to the various paddling trails of Volusia County and Mosquito Lagoon.
River Breeze Park is a great starting point to explore all Mosquito Lagoon has to offer. On this trip, our mode of transportation was by boat, and it didn't take long before the locals greeted us.
So one of the great treats of our area is the bottlenose dolphin. We have local pods of bottlenose dolphin that stay with us year-round, and there's also offshore bottlenose dolphin that'll kind of migrate north and south during different times of the year. We are able to identify almost every single dolphin in this Indian River Lagoon just by its dorsal fin. So the dorsal fin will have different notches or nicks on it throughout its life, and we use those to identify it just like the fingerprints of a human. So when you're out here with these dolphins, just try not to chase them, harass them in any way. We really want to try to keep it as natural as possible for them out here, so just kind of enjoy the show that they'll provide.
Weirdly enough, the dolphins seem to be leading us to a large yellow house on a hill. So we motored over.
We've made it to Seminole Rest Historic Site located inside Canaveral National Seashore. This site has a deep history from its earliest inhabitants, the Tomoqua Indians, to early pioneers settling in this area in the late 1800s, to the historic site that it is today. The main house and caretaker's cottage sit atop a Tomoqua Indian shell mound named Snyder's Mound after the family that made efforts to preserve this area. The Snyder family's efforts managed to preserve this mound so that later in the 1990s, archaeologists could excavate a portion of this site. Inside, they found several artifacts, animal and plant remains, pottery shards, and even shell bead necklaces.
We loaded back into the boat and we were off again. This time, a group of brown pelicans caught our eye, and on the horizon, what looked to be a hill was jutting out of the mangroves. We went to investigate and followed a pathway to the top.
The people that occupied this area were known as the Tomoquan Indians. In the 2,000 years that they lived here, they did very little to alter the natural landscape. However, they left behind burial and shell mounds, which are key to us understanding their history. Today, we are visiting one of those historic mounds, Turtle Mound. It is the largest mound in the continental U.S. It sits on 2 acres and is covered with 35,000 cubic yards of oyster shell. It stretches 600 feet along the Indian River and is 50 feet high. Park visitors can climb to the top of Turtle Mound using the educational boardwalk and enjoy the interpretive panels along the way. From the top, you have a panoramic view of the Atlantic Ocean, Merritt Island, Indian River, and Mosquito Lagoon. This national treasure is located right here in Volusia County.
We departed Turtle Mound with our imaginations running wild. But Trey had one more stop.
Mary McLeod Bethune Park has multiple parking areas. You can park on the beach. There's also a little spot right here on the lagoon that has a kayak launch. And in this area, there's a lot of manatees that'll come and kind of rest. So if you do happen to come in this area, just be really cautious of manatees that are popping up and around. And they're just coming to this area to rest. So we really try not to bother them too much.
As we left Mary McLeod Bethune Park, we had food and shade on our mind. It wasn't long before the faint sound of music and delicious smell of fresh seafood filled the air.
Well, that ends our adventure for today. We're going to stop and have a little lunch.
I'm Trey.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Tracy, and we're with Volusia Magazine.
We just scratched the surface on all Mosquito Lagoon has to offer. So get out and explore Volusia County, because you never know what you might find.